All right, let's jump right in. We are about to unpack one of the most incredible political comebacks in all of history. And our source for this? None other than the historian Flavius Josephus. I mean, this story has it all. Desperation, betrayal, and a crazy high-stakes gamble right in the heart of Rome.
So I want you to just picture this for a second. Everything you've worked for is just gone. Your family, they're under siege. Your brother's been captured. And all those powerful allies you thought you had, yeah, they've turned on you. This isn't the story of a king sitting comfortably on his throne. No, this is the story of a man named Herod when he has hit absolute rock bottom.
So, Herod's first move here isn't some grand political play for a crown. Not at all. It's way more personal, way more desperate. He's on the run, heading for Arabia, with one single, urgent goal in mind: get enough cash together to ransom his brother, Phasaelus, before it's too late.
Okay, so this story has a lot of moving parts. To really get it, we need to know who's who. Think of it like a chessboard. On one side, you've got Herod and his brother Phasaelus. They're the sons of Antipater, a family whose whole power base was built on being tight with Rome. Their main rival? A guy named Antigonus, a prince who wants the Romans out. And then you have the real power players, the ones moving all the pieces. The Roman big shots, Mark Antony and the young Caesar. Yep, that's Caesar. And a wild card, King Malichus of Arabia. The relationships between these guys? Well, that's the whole game right there.
And look, Herod wasn't just showing up asking for a favor, he was ready to pay. And I mean, pay. He was offering 300 talents for his brother's life, which is just an insane amount of money back then. He was so serious, he even brought his own 7-year-old nephew, his brother's kid, to offer up as collateral. I mean, can you imagine? That just tells you everything you need to know about how desperate he was. So Herod heads to Arabia, and he's thinking, okay, I can count on these guys. His father had built up a really strong friendship with their king. He was expecting a helping hand. What he got instead was a knife in the back, a cold, calculated betrayal. And Josephus tells us exactly how it happened. The king, Malichus, basically sends a messenger out to meet Herod and tells him, turn around and get out of my country. And the excuse he uses? Oh, the Parthians might be coming. It was such a weak excuse, and Herod saw right through it.
So what was really going on? Simple. Money. Greed. King Malichus owed Herod's dad a ton of cash, and this was his chance to just make that debt disappear. Plus, his advisors were whispering in his ear, telling him this was a perfect opportunity to grab all the money Antipater had left in their kingdom for safekeeping. They didn't see a friend in need, they saw a walking piggy bank ready to be smashed open.
Okay, so the door to Arabia is slammed shut in his face. Herod's out of options. Well, almost. He's got one last, desperate Hail Mary of a plan: get to Rome, the very heart of the empire. And this journey, wow, it was a nightmare from the get-go. First, he gets betrayed in Arabia. Then, as he's making his way through Egypt, he gets the worst news possible. His brother is dead. The entire reason for his journey is gone. While he's there, he even has to turn down a job offer from Cleopatra. Yeah, the Cleopatra. Then he gets on a ship, and of course, a massive storm hits. He has to throw cargo overboard just to survive. But somehow, he keeps going. He finds some friends in Rhodes who help him out, and he finally lands in Italy.
So he gets to Rome, and this is where you see Herod's genius. His whole plan has to change. He's not there to beg for an army or money to reconquer his kingdom. No. He's there to make a political pitch. And his audience is the most powerful man he knows, Mark Antony.
And what's amazing is, Antony was all ears. For him, it was partly personal. He felt bad for what happened to Herod, he had fond memories of his dad, and he just plain respected Herod's abilities. But it was also smart politics. Antony couldn't stand Herod's rival, Antigonus. He saw the guy as a real pain, someone stirring up trouble on a really important Roman border.
But here's the thing, it wasn't just Antony. Herod also got the backing of the other major player in Rome, the young Caesar, who we know as the future Emperor Augustus. And Caesar had his own memories of how Herod's father had helped his family in past wars. He also saw that same spark, that same drive and energy, what Josephus calls his activity, in Herod himself. So think about the pitch to the Roman Senate. It was brilliant. They basically said, look, you've got two choices here. On one hand, you have Herod. His family has always been loyal to Rome, he's a capable guy, and he'll be a huge asset to us. On the other hand, you have this guy Antigonus. He's an enemy of Rome who only got into power because our biggest enemies, the Parthians, helped him. So the choice for the Senate was pretty simple, right? A trustworthy ally on a dangerous frontier, or a troublemaker backed by the enemy?
Well, with a case that clear, and with the backing of Rome's two most powerful men, the result was pretty much a foregone conclusion. It was fast, it was decisive, and for Herod, it changed absolutely everything.
And here it is, the moment that seals the deal. Antony stands up in the Senate and he lays it all out. He says, listen, this isn't about doing a favor for a friend. Making Herod king is good for Rome. It helps us in our war against the Parthians. He framed it as a matter of national security, and with that, it was over. The vote was unanimous.
And they didn't just hand him a piece of paper. Oh no, this was a full-on Roman spectacle. We're talking Antony and Caesar themselves walking Herod out of the Senate building, with Herod right there between them. There's a whole parade with consuls and magistrates. They go up to the Capitol to make sacrifices. They officially log the decree. And to top it all off, Antony hosts a huge feast for him. This was the first official day of King Herod's reign.
So just let that sink in for a minute. The same guy who arrived in Italy as a broke fugitive, a man who had lost literally everything and was just trying to scrape together ransom money for his brother, that man was now walking out of Rome, a king, anointed by the Senate, backed by the full power of Rome. It is, without a doubt, one of the most stunning political turnarounds in the ancient world, period.
And all of this leaves us with a really interesting question, doesn't it? Herod didn't win his crown with an army. He won it with diplomacy, with alliances, with friendships. He didn't conquer a capital, he convinced a Senate. So it really makes you think, in the game of power, what's more valuable, a mighty army or a few mighty good friends?